Assalamu alaikum, my dear friends. How are you? My name is Abdul Khalik. Dear friend, look, the life we are living, each one of us living, it is not as simple. It is rather means somewhat complicated, particularly in the countries, in the third world countries. And the life is not simple, even in the first world countries. But as far these third world societies are concerned, there are more complication, even much more complicated life is waiting for the people. But dear friends, there are people who are really unable to manage their affairs, to and unable to manage their problems and difficulties and the crisis like situation, while there are certain other people. These people are called resilient people. These do have the resilience, and it is really great to be a resilient person. It is really great to be that. And I think that each one of us try to create this great quality in themselves, because that is something which is extraordinary. And what is this resilience? It is actually having the developing the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from the toughness of the life, from the difficulties of the life, from the disaster situation. Like today we are going to talk about how to become a more resilient person, and now what are the signs if at all a person is resilient or not. So there are 12 qualities, there are 12 habits or attitudes which have been unlisted here. So these 12 qualities actually mean that the person is really a resilient one, or if at all somebody is trying to create these qualities in themselves, it also means that this person is really a resilient one. So the first such quality is growing up in a toxic home. Growing up in a what is meant by a toxic home? Mean if at all the seniors, the elders, the parents, if at all they are having a kind of toxic attitude towards each other, between the spouses and even towards the children, it mean nothing but the toxic home. And if at all somebody has lived in a toxic home, obviously it is not something that easy. And living in a toxic home, growing up in a toxic home rather, so it means that you are a resilient person, and you didn't become because of the resilience, you yourself did not become a toxic person at all. Now the second thing is moving toward a place where you don't know anyone. You have migrated, shifted to a place where nobody knows you, and still you dare to do that. It means that you are really a resilient person. Traveling alone, you are able to travel alone, so indeed it is also some, it shows that you are a resilient person. The fourth is surviving a financial crisis. Indeed, financial crisis disturb us a lot. And surviving, if at all somebody has survived the financial crisis, I think they are really survived, mean without collapsing, did not collapse because of the financial crisis. It means that indeed you are a resilient person. And the fifth is being rejected over and over again, being rejected over and over again, failing over and over repeatedly, being rejected again and again. It also means that you, if at all still you are keeping your spirit high, you are indeed a resilient person. And we need to develop the resilience in us, because nothing helps us as much as the resilience itself. Now, the sixth is being bullied with no one to back you. Somebody is bullying you, somebody is threatening you, somebody is trying to blackmail you, somebody is trying to has adopted a kind of disparaging attitude toward you, and there is no one else to back you, but you are still bearing it. You are still bearing it. It means that you are a resilient person. And it is the seventh is your best friend betraying you. Your best friend has betrayed you, and your best friend is betraying you. It does mean that you are a resilient person indeed. You have survived all that, you did not collapse. It does mean that you are a resilient person indeed. And now the eighth is having your heart broken having your heart broken in the painful way, having your heart broken in the broken in the painful way. So but still you survived, still because your loved one, betrayed you. You were dependent emotionally so much upon a person, but this person didn't treat you fairly and left you unexpectedly. Obviously it is not something which is easy to bear, but you have tolerated this thing even. And now the ninth is failing miserably. And failing miserably, you were having a great project and a plan, and you thought that this plan will change your life, will make you somebody really good and great. And despite all that, despite the fact that you have failed miserably in that, it was a greater project for you. It could have changed your life, it could have revolutionized your life. But dear friends, if at all you have paid it all, it does mean nothing that you are quite a resilient person. And now it is the 10th is, handling other people's problem, handling other people's problems. I think obviously being able to handle the problems, it is handle the problems of oneself. It does take quite a lot of effort, but being able to handle the problems of others, it takes even more, courage. It takes even more, stamina, more like, more like being a great or a resilient person, trying to handle the problems of other people. And now the 11th is, surviving a disaster. Disaster does mean something really bad, and we should be able to avoid this disaster at all. And but if at all the disasters has arrived, now I think instead of considering that my life is over, I shall never ever be able to regain the lost strength or the glory, you may get even better if at all you are a resilient person, because the word does respect only those people who are resilient. As for the setbacks are concerned, as for the troubles, the challenges, and the problems are concerned, this does happen and occur to each and everyone else, and at different times, at different times. So, in case we are a resilient person, indeed we will be able to survive well in our life, and we will be able to recover back quickly out of every trouble, out of every tough situation. But lacking the resilience actually mean that we are not, we are just collapsed. And now the 12th and the last is crawling out of depression. Mean if at all somebody might find oneself in the depression because of one or more such event which was quite a disastrous one. Now there are people who are slowly recovering, but there are people who become dependent upon the tranquilizers for the rest of their life. So I think that this being able to crawl out after the depression, that is something really really great. And all of these qualities, even if at all we have experienced, not necessarily mean we come across each and every of these 12, there will be maybe there will be no one else who have experienced all these 12. But if at all we have come across some of these, one of these, two of these, three of these, it actually means we have recovered, we have bounced back, we have recovered, and we recovered from all that. It actually means that we are really a resilient person. We need to become a resilient person. I think nothing in the life is as important. It is even more important than the finances. It is more important than anything else here in this world, for a human being, and that is being a resilient person. Thank you.